Hello everybody, welcome. It's Wednesday, it's a new comic book day, and yes, I just got back from my comic book store with what was going to be quite a small week. It was a full book week, so I added a couple of issues on to bulk it up a bit, help the comic book store out. So yes, it's been weird lately. Again, I just think it's because a lot of my books are on hiatus. Like, I usually have a ton of Image books, but they all just seem to be on hiatus, or God knows where they are right now. I'm talking to you, Jonathan Hickman. I'm still waiting for the next issue of Black Monday Murders. So I'll be showing to you those all very soon. Just a few messages before I continue. Friday, third part of my ongoing series, the Softlands podcast, came up. Thank you to all of you who've been watching that. If you've not got on the Softland podcast train yet, then there is a playlist on my channel page, so hop over there and catch up. And I have a confession to make. I'm sorry there is not going to be one this Friday because basically I was a bit lazy. I'm not going to make any excuses apart from the fact that I'm lazy. And there is a lot of work for me involved in that, and I do have to take a lot of time out to sort that out. But I promise it'll be back the following week. So I thought instead, so we have something to have a look at and hopefully entertain you. Back in 2016, October if I remember rightly, I started showing off the my Fantastic Four collection, because that is the run that I would most like to finish of Volume 1 at least. I mean, I buy all the rest, and I just feel like we're missing a lot of Fantastic Four in our current Marvel universe. Yes, we've got Chip Zdarsky's Marvel 2-in-1 with the Human Torch and the Thing, and you know, somewhere in the distant future we may see them back and all together and we'll get a Fantastic Four title. But I wanted to continue that run of covers that I was showing you, with lots of kind of tidbits of information about first appearances and poignant stuff about the issues, just so it doesn't become a cover gallery kind of video. And that video back in 2016 was all the issues that I collected that were brought out in the 60s and the 70s. So I thought, let's head over to the 80s, and I'll be putting that video up on Friday instead of the Softlands podcast. So I hope there's not too many of you disappointed, but what I will definitely do is catch up, so I've at least got an extra episode of the podcast up in case these kind of things happen and I'm being particularly lazy. I have the whole weekend to myself coming up, so I'll have plenty of time to sort that out. So sorry, but I'll give you a chance, if you haven't watched the last 3 episodes, to catch up with it. Sunday obviously saw my comic review video, which once I'd done it and I uploaded it, I just felt it wasn't great, but I put it up anyway because I couldn't do it again. I said in the description box, there's just, at the moment, there's just so few things to say about comic books at the moment. To be honest, they're either good or they're bad. There's nothing amazing at the moment. Yes, I have my pick of the weeks, and sometimes I struggle with picking a pick of the week. Sometimes I don't feel like those books that I choose are really worthy of that title sometimes, but they were the best of the bunch. So I just felt a bit out of sorts at the end of that video. I hope it didn't show when you all watched it, but hopefully the books I picked up this week I could be more enthused about and talk a little bit more coherently and with more passion. So I think that's it. Oh yes, apart from the fact next Wednesday's New Comic Book Day probably won't be there. I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off next week, and I'm going to stay at my partner's house, so I won't be in the vicinity of my comic book store to pick up my books until I come back home, probably on the Sunday. I might get a chance to quickly dive in there and pick up my books. So I might do a new comic book day the following Sunday, just to show you that, you know, one, I'm still alive, and two, what books I picked up. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Right, so rambled on for 5 minutes. You're here to look at some books. I'm going to start with the two that I added on. One that I was like, oh thank God there are some left on the shelf, because every week I went in and I just kept forgetting to order it. And the way comic book stores are at the moment, especially with books that are hot, it's unlikely, if you get to the end of the day, to see those books that you really want and forgot to order still on the shelf. But so I was happy that the Swamp Thing Winter Special, there were still copies left on the shelf. This is it's an 80-page giant. There's a story by Tom King in there, and there's a story by the late Len Wein. I'm guessing the Len Wein story was written before he died, and it's not just kind of scraps of a Len Wein story that someone has kind of adapted. It's got Kelly Jones doing art. I remember there was a mini-series, I don't know if it was last year, I think it was the year before, where those two had done a kind of, I think it was a 4 or 6 issue mini-series, which was good. So I'm happy to get that last Swamp Thing story by the co-creator of Old Swampy. And Tom King, he just seems to be doing no wrong in anything he writes. Everyone's always got great stuff to say about him, so I'm sure his story will be just as cracking as well. The other book I picked up, I can't remember if this came out last week or this week, but it is the new #1 from Dark Horse, Hungry Ghosts, this kind of horror anthology, which is, I guess it's curated, or at least it's edited by Karen Berger, and this is the Berger Books imprint. I'm sorry, I hate that name. It's that Berger Books. Karen Berger was an amazing curator of great works over at Vertigo, when Vertigo was a great place to read good, solid books which were not of the mainstream. And I mean, she brought and helped assist Neil Gaiman bringing the Sandman into our world, and for that I'm ever grateful to her. And it's great to have her back, bringing out all these new books over at Dark Horse now, but it's just the imprint name. It doesn't excite me at all. Berger Books. Berger Books. No, it doesn't matter how you say it, it sounds awful. Anyway, Hungry Ghosts, yes, horror anthology. I think there's about 3 different stories in here. It's only a 4-issue mini-series. I'm going to see what this first one's like, and if it's any good, or even, you know, above average, let's say, I'll stick it on my pull list, given that it is only kind of a 4-issue mini-series, but we'll see how it goes. It's nice to have a little bit of horror in your life. Only one book from Marvel this week, and it's issue 598 of Daredevil. Mayor Fisk's storyline continuing. This is gradually ramping up to the issue 600. And from the cover, it seems that Daredevil is going to have an unlikely ally in bringing down, hopefully, Mayor Fisk, Wilson Fisk, the once crime lord of the city. And that comes in the face of Muse, who was last seen as a kind of new big villain for Daredevil, and who had blinded Daredevil's new sidekick Blind Spot. So we'll see how that goes. Charles Soule's been doing a really great job. I read on Ron Garney's Twitter that I think he finishes with issue 600, and then we get a new artist, which it is a shame. It's nice to mix things up, but I've really enjoyed his artwork on here, and he'll be missed. The last 3 books this week are all from Image, and issue 4 of Wes Craig's The Grave Diggers Union, and I said in the past, really digging this book, digging this book. Oh God, I don't even know when I'm being funny. Yeah, okay, it wasn't funny. This is a great book. I really enjoy it. I'm glad I found the first issue, because I didn't originally decide to pick this up, but I think I was in some comic book store somewhere else and wanted to buy something, so I tried the first 2 issues, and I've fallen in love with this. It's a really great premise of this future world, I guess. It's a future world that has basically almost been taken over by like vampires and ghosts and zombies, and this Grave Diggers Union's job is to put them back down in the grave or kill them. And then you have this kind of dark cabal in the background that wants to kind of bring darkness to the whole world, and we have this group that of are kind of hero protagonists, I guess, who are up against some unholy odds. But it's just a fantastic book. I'm really enjoying it. I really like Toby Cypress's art. Wes Craig does this little bit right at the very beginning, which is still what is going on. It's kind of takes place on Earth, like in the past, but we're talking like kind of prehistoric past. So he gets to do a few pages as well, and if you're reading Deadly Class, you know what a great artist Wes Craig is. So I really like this book. It's fun to see I Hate Fairyland back for, I'm guessing, another story arc from Scotty Young. Interesting cover there, the bones of our main character Gertrude lying there, so what's happened to Gertrude? And we just wonder if she is ever going to make it out of this hellhole that she is planted herself in of Fairyland. But this is just over the top fun comic book violence with, you know, wisecracks, great characters, and Scotty Young in his inimitable kind of childlike style, but with a kind of very heavy adult content. Love it, love it, love it. Finally, issue number 20 of Paper Girls. Not a lot to say about this that I don't generally say about Paper Girls, in that it's a good book. It is. Of that, I can't deny. But it's just so moving. Not a lot time-wise happens in one issue. And we really need to kind of give this book a kick up the arse, basically, and give us something that's not necessarily shocking, but at least exciting. And that sounds unfair, because I do enjoy this book. I've loved it from the beginning. I like the time hopping bit of it. I like the fact that the future is coming into our present day and the past to mess with things, try and sort things out, and these poor 4 girls are kind of right in the middle of it all. If they have a purpose, maybe that's where Brian K. Vaughan's going, but who knows, we will see. And they're my books for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me know down in the comment section what you picked up this week. What upcoming books should I be looking at? And you need to remind me for the next time in the comic book store to order them, just in case. Thank you all for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up, and if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, hit the subscribe button and share this video out on your Facebook, your Twitter page. Follow me on Twitter. Of course, I'm at GhostCritic, and I'll follow you back. until Sunday, where I'll be talking to you about all those comics. And don't forget on Friday to tune in if you're in any way, shape or form a lover of all things FF, because we'll have an 80s sesh of covers for your entertainment. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Enjoy your books this week. Bye bye.